Davina, and welcome back. I know it's been a few weeks since my last video, and I apologize, but life has just been crazy busy around here, and when it wasn't crazy, the weather has not cooperated. I don't know if you can hear the wind, but we're currently under a tornado watch, so I thought I'd get this video in real quick while I can before God knows what happens. The farmers markets that I did 2 in April. The first one was a very small one. It was their first event. There was only 7 vendors total. And while I'm getting more comfortable talking to you on camera, I'm not comfortable talking to you on camera with other people watching me. So I didn't get any video that day. We were kind of pretty much on top of each other, and I just, no, not yet. The second one I did is one I do every month. I actually coordinate it for our library, which means I have to be there long before anyone else does. And that gave me the opportunity to get some footage in before all the vendors showed up. And I did get a little video there, and I'm gonna show that to you now. Okay, y'all, so I'm here set up. I have separated my tomatoes on one side, and I've got the herbs and eggplants, Brussels sprouts on this side, and then the peppers on that side. And because I have varieties people might not know of, I went ahead and made these little information sheets for everything with pictures, so they'll know what I've got. And there's the whole setup. Okay, so as you can see, I didn't take all the plant starts with me. I took at least one tray, which is 10 plants of each variety. I had some I took more than others because some I just had more germination on. And I sold 20 plants at the first one, 21 at the second one. And the first lesson I learned is April is too late to sell plant starts in my market. I started these February 6th, which is 6 weeks before my last frost date. But by the time April rolled around and they were big enough to be put out to sell, most people already had their gardens in place. A lot of people were like, oh, I just wanted to see what you had. And I don't like that. I should have done it in March. That means I'm going to have to start my seeds in January, so they're big enough for me to put into March. Now, if you remember, our last frost date, we still had 2 nights of freezing temperatures after that. So I guess I'll just have to give them a disclaimer saying, hey, I'm selling these, but no, when the temperature goes down below freezing, you're gonna need to bring them in and you're gonna have to take care of them. So, I guess it'll be on their own if they want to go ahead and put them out, but I will give them that warning. The second lesson I learned was when I started the seeds, I did them in the 72 cell trays, and that was fine. They worked out great, saved me rooms, and I got a lot of seeds started. But what I didn't pay attention to was the germination rate. I put in the trays, I wanted 4 rows of this and 3 rows of that and 2 rows. I did it by how many rows there were and what was gonna be the best use of the 72 cells. And I should have done the germination rate, because I had several trays where half of it had germinated and the other half still had 3, 4, 5 days to go before the germination was expected. And so the ones that had already germinated were getting really leggy, trying to escape the heat from the heat mat. So I will definitely pay attention to that next time. As far as variety, I sold a lot of jalapenos, and most people didn't even look twice as at the special ones, like the yellow tomatoes or the blush tomatoes. They just wanted the regular plain Jane red tomatoes you get at the grocery store. And I was very disappointed with that. I'm hoping that once I plant these and I get produce off of them, then maybe they'll sell, because people will look at them and be like, oh, hey, this is cool, let's try this one. That's the hope, at least, right? I did get some good news in there. My neighbor next door owns the local feed store, and we were talking about her garden and my garden, and she said, normally we buy our plant starts from a national chain, and they went up in prices, and we would much rather support a local farm than them. So they bought 20 plants from me and put them in their market. And like I said, it was late, so I didn't get another order from them, but I'm hoping that next year I can get with them in November, December, see what sells best in their store and start those in January. That way they can put them out in March as well. So that's a great connection to have. The successes and failures in my seeds. The fox cherry tomatoes, holy cow, did they take off. I planted, I think it was 4 rows of those, and I did several seeds in each cell to make sure I, got something in each cell, right? I ended up with 53 fox cherry tomato plants. That is freaking amazing. It was like every single seed in every single cell germinated, and that was crazy. So I will definitely not do as many rows of them next time, and I'll probably just do like 1 or 2 in each cell. But that was insane. The San Marzano, that was the same thing. I had quite a few of them. I had, I think, 30, not 50 of those. But still, very good germination rate on those. My one failure for this year were the chives. I got absolutely no chives whatsoever that germinated. I don't know what it is. They were new seeds. I bought them, sowed them 2 weeks later. So, I mean, they should have been good seeds. There were no special instructions on them. So I truly do not know what happened there. But I've got, a good amount of plants still left. I wish I could sell them all, but I'm going to probably have to sacrifice at least the tomatoes because nobody needs 53 tomatoes. My beds have not gone in yet. I have been waiting for my guy to deliver them compost, and every time we schedule it, we get a massive storm come through. The area where it's going to go becomes a mudslide, and I'm not going to spend the money for the compost to have it just all wash away. I did have them scheduled to come last weekend, and we were out there working the property and getting it all ready, and I looked up and I realized the tree that's right next to where I'm putting the beds, it was dead on the top. Like, the entire top half was dead, and I just did not feel comfortable about it. Like, when we've gotten a good little windstorm, it has dropped branches down. I was like, oh, it's just a little branch. But when I looked, it's like, there's going to be big stuff falling if I left it up anymore. So we did get that cut down, but I'm really glad that we did get it cut down, because if we would have let it fall on its own, it could have fallen on the beds, and that would have ruined everything. So now it's done and out of the way, and as soon as this tornado watch warning, whatever we're supposed to get today, I can hopefully get the compost delivered, and I can get the beds planted up. And I'll show you that once it happens. I'm not going to say if, because it will happen. I did go over to my parents a couple of times this month. They bought, I gave them, I think, about 10 plants for them to put into their garden. And they put them in little containers on their patio table, but they needed to be planted up. So I went over there, and I will show you what I did at their house here. So today we're at my parents' house. We have all these plants that I got for them, and they're doing really great, but they need to be uppotted. So that is the task for today. And we're going to put everything over here in this raised bed of theirs. I've had this for 4 years now, I think, and God only knows what's growing in here. But yeah, most of this will come out. Then I did get this planter box, and I'm going to put this in front of the other one. I've got some stain here because that one is in desperate need of some TLC. So that is what we'll be doing today. So as I started pulling these weeds out, you can see the nice, lovely bed of ants in here. So I am going to go boil some hot water and pour it on top of them and kill them dead. So I need to go do that real quick. Okay, so I've stained it, but it's a lot darker than I wanted. So I'm gonna come back and paint over it later. And I did put some ant killer down because those ants are vicious. It's 3 pots of boiling hot water, and they are still at it. Which, I mean, it's a good healthy ecosystem for here, but we don't want ants because they hurt. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna transplant this cabbage or this lettuce over to this side, I think. Because there's the San Marzano tomatoes, those are the serrano peppers, and that's the Texas A&M jalapenos, and they all need support. So they're gonna go up there. And I will be back when that's done. All right, so in this bed and on the big one, I am gonna put some plant tone and some worm castings in here to amend this potting soil I have. Who knows how long that potting soil was sitting on the shelves before I got to it, but I want all of this to have as much yummy goodness as I can give it so they'll grow nice and big. And in here, I'm going to put the nasturtium, some Brussels sprouts, and this is borage. The thyme, I'm going to move up into that corner. But I think we've got a couple more things he wants planted in here, and we will go from there. And I want to show you this. This is those compost pots that I was using. See, the roots are growing out the bottom just like they're supposed to. It is falling apart in my hand. So, I mean, they do what they're supposed to do. And hopefully they will keep doing what they're supposed to do once I get them in this soil. Look at this root system. It is nothing but this nasturtium plant. But look at all these roots, all growing out of that pot. So I'm pretty happy to see. Okay, so here are the beds now. Everything looks a little sad because it's really hot, even though it's not even noon yet. But I've got them in, I've got fertilizer in, I've got them watered, and hopefully they'll come back to life. So as you can see, it wasn't a great video. I apologize. I didn't even think about taking my tripod to set up anything to record. I was just going there to help out my dad, and I left half the stuff I was supposed to take at home anyways. Ended up having to stop at the store on my way there. But yeah, so that's what I have been up to this last month. I'm really hoping that this month, this weekend's Mother's Day, and so I'll be with her on Sunday, but I'm hoping tomorrow, Friday, I can get the compost delivered. If it's not, depending on what the ground does, if it's not too bad. We're supposed to get like some serious rain, like 2-inch hail, tornado watches. It's gonna be a doozy if it holds. And if the ground is okay for Saturday delivery, I'll have them deliver the mulch on Saturday. We'll work all of that all day Saturday and get as much of the beds put in as we can. And I will give you an update. I've learned a lot from the seedlings. And speaking of the seedlings, my single seed challenge, total and utter failure. I have no idea what happened. So this is the blush tomato. I honestly don't know what happened here. I got the little sprout, but past the cotyledons, nothing else came up on this. And I know it's got algae and stuff in there now. It's just been sitting outside, not doing anything. And then my loofah, it came up, it had leaves, and then it died too. So I don't know what happened to either one of these. They were on the same fertilization schedule. They got the same watering. They got everything that every other plant I have received. But for some reason, these two did not make it. But I didn't give up on the loofah. I want a loofah plant, so I have started it again. This will be loofah number 3, and I'm hoping that this one takes and I can get that planted out too. I honestly don't know what happened. The blush tomato, I have so many blush tomatoes waiting to go out in the garden, but that one, that's right. I think that's the purpose of it. And Scott, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's a learning process. The seed looked great. I thought it was gonna be fine. The cotyledons came up and then absolutely nothing. So I learned that just because all the others did well, nothing's guaranteed. The loofah came up, it had the first set of leaves. I thought it was gonna go great. And then it just pittered out. And I don't know if it's because I put them in the big pots and I should not have done that. But I seriously thought they were going to be okay. They got the same lights as everything else. They were on the same fertilization schedule as everything else. So I really do not know why they didn't take off. But I've started again, so it'll be single seed challenge take 3, 4. But I'm not giving up because I really do want a loofah plant. And I will come back and update y'all as soon as the garden beds go in. So make sure you hit subscribe and you can see when that goes in. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see y'all next time. Thanks, y'all. Bye.